Right, we are live. The Army values, the warrior ethos, coaching, and therapy. This is Warrior Leadership. This is Warrior Leadership. Hello, everybody. My name is JJ Hardy, the coach. Normally, we have DB the therapist here, but he couldn't make it today. That's okay. It's a wonderful thing about our team podcast. When one isn't there, the other one is. So you're going to have to put up with my happy butt all day today. Today, we are talking about a very special topic that is perfect for the leadership coach, the coach. That's me. And it is team building. So we'll talk about a myriad of things today related to team building. I'm going to get us to about a half hour, and then we're going to be done just like normal. So I'm going to start off with just talking about what I think of when I think of team building. And what I think of when I think of team building is really having a bunch of people coming together to get a job done. It's just like a business. But when you're considering that team, you got to figure out what the strengths and weaknesses of each person is on that team. And that's a wonderful thing because every person on that team is different. So building that team is it's a rounded task, and it's building those people up and getting them to work together. All right, so let's start off with the basics, and that's going to be with diversity. Check it out, everybody. Everyone is different, and when we start talking, hold on a second, my dogs are going crazy. Sorry about that. Wonderful thing about being live. I'll edit that out for the podcast. Anyway, so diversity, everyone is different. And everyone has something different to bring to the table. And you got to get to know those people as they come onto your team, because there are strengths and weaknesses to every person. And really the best thing about that diversity is that you will have somebody who's able to do every job. Now, when you put them in a position, don't make them stuck in that position. Make sure you analyze, how well they're doing. Talk to them about how well they're doing. Figure out if there's something that they would rather be doing. And if you have options for them, maybe there's another person on your team that doesn't like what they're doing, and they're not doing a very good job at what they're doing, and maybe they would like to do something different too. Put people in the best position that suits them if you have the capability to do that on your team. You don't always, but you should always try. And make sure that you're training people to get them where they need to be, so that, oh my gosh, that was probably Michael. I don't know. Maybe it's someone else. Hello, my favorite Facebook showman. Oh man, give me a lot of credit there. So, so that's why diversity is important, but make sure you train people when they have a weakness to get them to where they need to be, so that anybody on your team can do any job. Now, what is the leader's role in that team? So say I am the supervisor, the manager, the director, whatever the case may be. What is my role on that team? A lot of people seem to think that the manager is just the boss. It's not the case. I talk about a lot about this on a lot of my other posts and some of the other things that I have, my other podcasts especially. The leader of the team is still a part of the team. And actually, they have the most important role on that team, because they are there to support every single person on their team and make sure they have all the tools, the knowledge, and the abilities to get the job done. Now, you also have to track the tasks and statistics and make sure you're putting people where they're supposed to be. And that's part of it too. You got to balance the dichotomy of that, because it's very important to make sure that the work is getting done. If the work's getting done, you're not doing your job as a manager. But the people are doing the work. So make sure they have all the tools they need to get the job done, and support them in their role. And Michael said the leader's role is to pay out the plan and support. Yes, absolutely. Support is the biggest thing. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say this at any level that you're at. I don't care if you're at the ground level driving the forklift or you're the owner of the company. Every job in between, your role is to support everybody around you. And when you support everyone around you, you're going to be the most valuable person on the team. And that's really what servant leadership is all about, is to put the welfare of everybody else before your own while you're at work. Now, of course, that doesn't mean safety. Safety is a whole different topic. But when it comes to the leader role, you put the needs and the welfare of the other people before your own to make sure the job gets done and that your people they feel valued and supported. All right. So let's talk about another thing. Let's talk about values and why values are important to a team. So most times when you go into a company, they have a set of values already. I live the Army values. And so I'll just use those as an example because it's the perfect way to determine what a value set is. And it looks like my screen's freezing a little bit. But the Army values, and I talk about with this with Derek all the time, and those values are loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Now, the military did it right. I won't say all the leaders that I had. I absolutely. Michael said that values are important because they speak to your heart. Absolutely. They should, because that's what motivates you. And honestly, when you go into a company, especially if you're a manager, you should be told those values and be told how important those values are right from the get-go, because your job as a manager is going to be to make sure that you communicate those same values to those people down below you. In the Army values, they did that the same way with us. So not only did they tell us those values, but we had to memorize them. And as a matter of fact, do I have it sitting here? Nope, I don't. But I have a set of dog tags that I have a tag that has the Army values on there. And so I carried them around with me literally every day. And not everybody wears their dog tags every day. I put a habit of it because I did so many combat deployments that I just kept my dog tags on me. It was like, it was really, really important to me. But so values are only good when you know them, apply them, and make sure that your team knows them and applies them. And you have to make sure that you emphasize how important those values are, just like the mission. If they don't believe in the mission, they're not going to do it, or they're going to do a shoddy job. Right? So servant leadership, I talked about before. I mentioned it a couple of times, and I know Derek and I talk about it a lot. But servant leadership is putting the welfare of other people before your own. And when you do that, you're making sure that you're taking care of others. Now that goes both with your seniors, your peers, and your subordinates. These dogs are barking again. Okay, so making sure you put the welfare of everybody else before you. Okay, we're back live. Sorry about that. Okay, so servant leadership is just putting people before yourself, and what that does is it builds you up as an authority, and it teaches other people that you're going to do the job not because you're doing it for you, but you're doing it because you want to serve other people, and that's extremely important in any job. Now, this idea of coaching, I'm the coach, right? So I have to talk about coaching. Coaching is extremely important to the workplace. And I'm going to be releasing a new training program here pretty soon where I can certify other leaders inside their own organization to be a coach. And why is that important? Coaches take the ordinary employee, the ordinary manager, the ordinary director, whatever the case may be, and they take them from understanding something to being extremely good at that thing. I would say making them a champion. And that is probably the most important skill that you can develop inside the workplace. And I'm going to do it using the servant leadership principles. And so I'm going to be offering that as a training package to certify people. But a coach is important. And on your team, the reason that I'm talking about coaching is because everybody needs to be there for one another. And making sure that everybody is proficient on just about everything else to a certain level where they can take care of each other. And that is building that builds the strongest team that you can possibly get. Now, I believe in the model of teaching, coaching, and mentoring. So the coach is not enough. You have to have that teacher there. And the coach is that too. Usually they know enough about something where they can teach you, and they probably will a little bit just to give you a refresher on things. But the teacher is that person that provides you the training. They take you from zero knowledge at all to understanding enough about something. When everybody helps, everybody wins. You're absolutely right. Oh my gosh. Say that again. Look at this. When everybody helps, everybody wins. That's a winning comment right there. All right, now I'm going to go back into my man. Thank you for sharing that. So, teaching, coaching, and mentoring. So, having the knowledge is not enough. But now that coach is going to get you to the point where you understand enough about that knowledge, that thing that you just been taught, and they're going to make you really, really good at it. Now, you also have to have the mentor in the workplace. And in my opinion, the leader, the coach, they should be everything. They should understand how to do all of it. The mentor is when you are looking for somebody that you trust. You're looking for somebody that has been there and done that. And you go to them because you see them as an authority and you need their advice. They could be your coach at certain times. But at the end of the day, they're just that person that when you have questions about something or you feel like you need guidance, that they are going to be there for you. Okay. That is a recipe for success right there. You got to turn everybody into that same thing and give them the knowledge, skills, and ability to be that teacher, that coach, and that mentor. And you got to provide them with the opportunities to be able to do some peer-to-peer teaching and coaching so that they can all become champions together. That's part of building a super rock solid team. Now, the next part about that, and this goes along with coaching too, is building trust and accountability. How do you do that? Well, the accountability is there with the manager, right? So I'm going to say from a management standpoint, you have to be there to make sure that you are holding people accountable to get the job done. Every single manager has to do that. And if they don't, they're not doing their job. That's one of the basic things that they are asked to do. Because if the job's not getting done, they're probably not going to last as a manager. However, that next step is building influence, creating creating trust around you so that people don't necessarily just want to do the job because they're told to. They're doing it because they want to do it for you. So that is influence, and that's building trust. And how do you do that? So I talk a lot about how effective communication and setting and managing expectations can foster an environment where nobody feels like they're on an island. I will say that right now, in the current state of the workforce, the employee management relationship is trash at most places that I've gone to. And I think that, well, when I was still in the workforce and not as a coach and consultant here and a trainer, I noticed the same thing. And a lot of that I heard from my employees. They said, at the last 3 jobs I had, I couldn't trust my manager to ever keep his word. He would say he would help me, he would walk away, and I would never see it. And that's just sad. When you tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it. By the way, the other responsibility of the manager, the leader, if they are one, is to make sure that they are checking up with their people on a regular basis, asking them how they're doing, asking them if there's anything that they can do to, if I'm the manager walking up to you, I'm going to be like, what can I do to support you in your role right now? Is there anything I can do to help you? If they say yes, could you please help me with this? It's okay to walk away in that moment if you can't do it right then, but come back. Let them know that you will help them, but you got to take care of something and you'll be right back, or whatever the case may be. Do not leave them hanging. And if you can't help them, say that. But don't leave your people hanging. You're going to lose all trust and credibility if you do that. It's exactly what I'm trying to say, Michael. If the employee doesn't feel seen and heard, then they're pretty much done. I agree. And you know what? Once you lose that credibility, it's really, really hard to get it back. I hate to use this as an example, but remember when you were a child and one of your parents may have broken a promise, even if it was on accident and it was outside of their character. If they did it one time, did you go behind their back instead of ask them for permission or for help the next time? Or did you go up to them? You're probably hesitant to want to go up to them because last time you went to them and they blew you off, it really hurt your feelings. The same thing happens in the workplace. Don't let that be one of your people. Don't let it be one of your people. So when you talk about setting and managing expectations, you let them know right up front what you expect of them. And then you check up with them regularly to ask them what you can do to support them, how they're doing outside of work. And, is everything going okay? How's your mom? How's your dog? How's your goldfish? Whatever the case may be. And then taking it to that next level and saying, is there anything I can do to better support you in your role? Also, I feel like there's a responsibility once a month or once a quarter to set schedule time out for every single one of your employees to have a conversation about how well they are doing and get feedback from them on what they think after you tell them, what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong in the workplace, where they could use improvement. But then also say, is there anything that I can do to improve and better support you in your role? You should always do that reverse side and ask them how you're doing, because it lets them know that it's not just about you supporting them and having to do your job because that's what you're getting paid to do, but that you want to be better at it because you care about them. And then asking them what their goals are and how you can support them in those goals. That should go through the life of each worker. So the whole time you should always be doing those check-ins and making sure you're doing that performance evaluation. I was always a good kid, but when a promise is broken, It hits. Oh my gosh, it hits and it stays. You're absolutely right. So what else did I have to talk about today? That was really it. Then I'm going to end a little bit because I don't have DB the therapist here today to bounce these ideas off of and get additional conversation flowing. So what I will say in closing is that when you are building teams, make sure you're building a diverse skill set within that team. You're understanding your employees' strengths, you're understanding their weaknesses and helping them get stronger where they're weak. That you're diversifying everyone's skill set to make sure you're cross training and that everyone kind of has a good understanding of what everyone else is doing. Know the values for you and know the values of your company, and make sure you communicate those values to the employees so that they understand what the overall the heart of the company should look like. When you're the leader, you're not just in charge of a group. You are the person that is accountable for that group of people, that is a member of the team and is like the main support engine to make sure everything is getting done. Make sure that you're constantly setting and managing expectations and communicating with your employees consistently to keep them from feeling like they're on an island. The teach, coach, mentor model should be taught, especially if you have downtrace supervisors or managers. If you can build an environment that's surrounded that encapsulates the values of a leader, then and you have everybody who's willing to support everybody else, and even down to the ground level, your team members are teaching, coaching, and mentoring each other and making sure they're supporting each other. You're going to have the strongest team out there. And that's really all I have for today. I really appreciate Michael for showing up, and I appreciate everybody who watches this later on. I apologize for the mix-up with my dogs going crazy because somebody was at the door. I love live streams, but every once in a while, a kerfuffle happens. So you just got to roll with the punches. And I will put a plug in for my book. I don't do it enough. Why Organizations Should Develop Their Leaders. It is a pocket guide, and it is available on Amazon. If you want to know more, comment below. I'd be happy to share the link for the book. And Saturday, I have a free training session on effective communication, talking about other things other than setting and managing expectations. It's a different kind of communication. It's how to communicate effectively and the active listening and all that other stuff that goes along with it. But if you want to know more, you got to show up. And if you're interested in that, let me know. I can share that link with you. But if you follow my social media, it's everywhere. I've advertised that training multiple times throughout the week. It's going to be advertised again before the end of the week. And I think that's it. Michael, you're the man. Thank you for showing up, buddy. And thank you to everybody else as they watch this video. And I appreciate everybody for who you are, and keep on watching my content. I love all the feedback that I get from everybody. My name is JJ Hardy, the coach from Victory Leadership Coaching, and this was Warrior Leadership on Team Building. Y'all have a blessed day.